Hello, in this video I want to elaborate one really important topic asked to me by my fans in one of previous videos, and that's the question: who is the most powerful entity I ever summoned? And the answer is probably that's the wrong question, because different spirits have different powers and they can do different things. The amount of raw power spirit possesses isn't the correct indicator regarding what type of power you can expect and how quickly your result will manifest. Let me give you one example. So, let's say I cast a love spell on somebody, and in one instance I use Satan, in another I use Nama. Well, Satan is more powerful than Nama, but if I use the love spell, if I work with Nama, it will be quicker, because Nama is spirit better suited for love spells. So, from the practical standpoint, the power of the spirit you are summoning doesn't matter. What matters is how much is spirit you are conjuring skilled regarding the issue you are trying to solve with that spirit. So, working with spirits is not a Pokemon game and you are not collecting Dragon Balls. There is a science to this. You need to know what spirit you are summoning, for what purpose and why, and are you summoning it with the correct way, and are you able to focus on a ritual and conduit it properly. Working with spirit is not a Pokemon game. Now, the most powerful spirit I ever summoned are two spirits I am not allowed to name publicly, but out of the spirits I am able to name publicly, Hassan Abdul Ghul, the father of all of the ghoulish jinns, and Samael are the most powerful spirits. So that's the answer on the question of who is the most powerful spirit I ever summoned. It is Samael on one hand and Hassan Abdul Ghul, the father of all ghoulish jinns, on another hand. So those are two most powerful spirits I ever summoned. And also tell me in comment section who of those two spirits you want me to cover first. Hassan Abdul Ghul is the spirit which is father of all ghoul jinns. If you don't know who the ghoul jinns are, they are the race of jinns which dwell in graveyards and impure places. And their father, their elder, is an extremely powerful being, and he possesses power, wisdom, and knowledge beyond human understanding. Samael, on another hand, is arch-being of the Caliphate. He is the archangel responsible for origin of the Citrara, or the other side, and all of the Caliphatic spirits. Together with Lilith, Archangel Samael created demons, all of the demonic spirits. So, who of those two beings you want me to cover? Once you tell me your answer in a comment section, I will do exactly that. I will cover spirit of your choosing, guys and girls, and thank you for watching, and enjoy Lilith meditation or Kali meditation. By the way, Lilith and Kali are not the same being. They are completely separate spirits altogether. Lilith represents the power of illness, pestilence, and sexuality, while Kali represents the destructive aspect of time and the darkness itself. So they are two spirits which are energetically related, but they are far from the same. It's like saying that attractive Jewish woman and attractive Indian woman are the same person just because both of them are attractive women. The same type of mistake is if you assume that Kali and Lilith are the same deity just because you see some similarities there. Similarities between spirits in different cultures doesn't mean that this is the same spirit. In my opinion, those similarities happen not because those are the same spirits, but because we have similar needs and different cultures use different spirits to fulfill the same needs they have. So, similarities between all of those spirits in different cultures are there because humans have the same needs. So, they find different spirits in different areas to fulfill those same needs. Now, I was also asked by my audience to clarify even more why Lilith and Kali are not the same being, and what is the difference in energy signature and practical application of Lilith and Kali, what is the difference in approach, and what is the difference in manifestation of energy regarding Lilith and Kali. So first, let's discuss the energy signature of Lilith and energy signature of Kali in my personal experience. In my personal experience, energy signature of Lilith is cold. She usually manifests as a cold white wind in my energy space, which then, if I pursue the ritual really intensely with mantra and devotion and ritual, that energy morphs into a female form I can communicate with. So energy of Lilith is cold, like a cold wind. It's really cold, it's really sexual, and it's really intoxicating. When I summon energy of Lilith, I feel kinda dull, and I feel kinda out of my mind for a while. Energy of Lilith also corresponds to illness. She can be used for healing, but more for emotional healing. She cannot be used for physical healing. Actually, the only thing she can do, I refer to Lilith. The only thing Lilith can do regarding physical healing is she can alleviate the pain. She is completely unable to perform any form of physical healing. Do not call Lilith for any physical healing, that will not work. Lilith heals maybe only deformities related to sexuality. But I am saying maybe. So, optionally, you can summon Lilith to cure your impotence or some venereal disease. But in all other cases, do not summon Lilith for healing of physical body because she doesn't correspond to healing. She doesn't correspond to healthy physical body. And do not call her to heal your physical body. This is a really important warning. Also, Lilith is a being which corresponds to sexuality. That can be said for Kali. But Lilith corresponds to much more perverse aspects of the human sexuality. However, Lilith is, on other hand, useful for the certain things Kali is not. Lilith is extremely useful to defend you from illness. But when I say to defend you from illness, I mean to stop you from being ill. So Lilith can stop you from being affected by illness, but she cannot remove illness which is already there. So if you need protection for a healthy body from illness, Lilith is a good choice. But if you want to remove illness which is already there, Lilith cannot help you. Lilith cannot remove the illness which is already there. In my personal opinion, Lilith is better than Kali for protection from illnesses, from the perspective of the healthy body. However, if you need healing of sick body, of ill body, if you are already afflicted by illness and you need healing, then Kali is the right choice. There is also a difference in which deities react if they are called to curse someone. If you call Lilith to curse someone, what happens is she slowly attaches to the victim and slowly drains the victim, while Kali tends to inflict swift and really brutal punishment upon your enemies. Kali is also spirit which is, let's be honest, more powerful than Lilith. Energy of Kali is also much different than the energy of Lilith. Energy of Kali is really black and really dark, while energy of Lilith is more like a cold wind with sexual undertones, which inflict illness and makes you dull and heals you emotionally and awakens you sexually. Kali, on another hand, is really different. Kali is master for removing illnesses. She is also master of protection. She teaches much purer forms of void magic than Lilith. But Kali, on another hand, has a few quirks which make her much more difficult to work than Lilith. You see, Lilith as a spirit is an entity which is really tolerant of other divinities, really tolerant of other spirits. Kali is much less tolerant. You need to dedicate a lot to her and to Shiva and to other tantric paths, and you need to attune to other negative spirits first before you start working with Kali seriously. You need to start working with other tantric entities first before starting to work with Kali seriously. Kali is much more demanding than Lilith, but she is also more powerful than Lilith. But as I said, the fact that Kali is more powerful than Lilith doesn't mean that Lilith is less worthy of working with than Kali. Because power level of spirit doesn't matter. What matters is how spirit is compatible with the desires of your own soul and how you can use the spiritual energy of certain entity for your spiritual evolution. Spirits are not Pokemon and you are not collecting them. So technically I wanted to shortly say what's the difference between Lilith and Kali. Lilith is much more colder and sexual, while Kali is much more darker and demanding than Lilith is. Kali is also much more powerful. What Kali can do is Kali can initiate you into deeper energies of darkness, into much lower world than Lilith. But Lilith on another side has her own current. The current of the winds of plague. Lilith can teach you how to use the energies of illness to manifest what you want. Kali, on another side, can bring illness, but her essence is not the energies of illness. Her essence is not negative energy. The essence of Kali is technically the dark energy of Shakti, the dark energy of the mother goddess. And Kali is really connected to the void and to primordial darkness, to the dark side of the Brahman, if you want to go to the Brahman via left-handed route. While Lilith is more connected to the winds of plague and sexual energy and using your own illness and sexual energy for spiritual attainment. So, from what I said now, you can clearly see that Kali and Lilith are similar to an extent, but they are far from a same being and they represent completely different energy currents. I see a lot of people equating all kinds of entities to Kali and all kinds of entities to Lilith. And this is not only misleading, but it is also really non-beneficial for followers of spiritual path. We need to understand that different cultures worship different energies and different gods, and we shouldn't equate them recklessly, because then we are trying to put all of those cultures and traditions in our own limited understanding, and usually a lot of the time we do not understand those cultures and those traditions properly, which leads to misinformation. So if you are subscribed to my channel, please consider not equating Kali and Lilith. Please consider actually studying Judaical literature and Hindu mythology, and try to practice and approach those entities with as much research as possible, and you will definitely experience those energies in a unique way and benefit from them. But we should approach those gods and spirits with a lot of study, with a lot of effort. And in my experience, Kali and Lilith are completely different spirits. Both of them are goddesses, but they, as I said, work with different energy currents. They can be used for different things, and they teach different mysteries. They are not the same energy, they are not the same being. I explained what's the difference. Lilith is more like big succubi, which inflicts illness and heals emotionally, while Kali is primordial dark goddess attuned to the void itself. Many of the mysteries they teach are similar, but they are really different energies. Kali is much more powerful than Lilith, but difference in power isn't the reason for you to work with Kali instead of Lilith, because if you vibe with Lilith, then you should work with Lilith. Spirits are not Pokemon, and you shouldn't work with one spirit simply because he is more powerful than another. You should look at how different energies vibe with you, and you should use right types of energy for right types of end goal. You should use right type of energy for the form of spiritual attainment which corresponds to that energy. For example, a lot of people use Kali as some form of deity which is worshipped by ascetic people, and that's misconception in the West. Majority of Kali followers actually follow the left-hand path to Brahman. They are more like Agoris, Abhichara masters, people who work with negative entities. While those who follow the right-hand path usually follow more lighter aspects of Mother Goddess in Hinduism, like Durga. So Durga is more of a right-hand path deity, while Kali is more of a left-hand path deity. A right-hand path people worship gods like Surya, Lakshmi, and others, while left-hand path guys worship like Kali and demonic form of Shiva and things like that. So Kali is a really destructive left-hand path deity. She presides over left-hand path to Brahman mostly. She presides a little bit over the right-hand path, but it's not generally hurting. So Kali is really not a deity which demands of you to starve, to fast a lot, and to eat only plants. A lot of tantric practices such as sex, magic, drinking of alcohol, consuming drugs for spiritual attainment, all of those things can be done as the act of Kali worship, and Kali doesn't have anything against those practices. However, Kali is, how I can say, she is really satanized in the West, because when you talk about cult of Kali in the West, people usually talk about human sacrifice and how people sacrifice humans to Kali. And I will be honest and I will say that that happens. But that happens in a really rare occasions, in a really controlled setting. And this is not how we on the West actually perceive it. So let's say if you want to sacrifice somebody to Kali, that act has to be part of Dharma of that person. So let me explain something. You can sacrifice somebody to Kali via curse or otherwise only if it fits the dharmic nature of that person. So you can sacrifice somebody to Kali only if that person incarnated to be sacrificed to Kali. Otherwise, it will not work. So human sacrifice to Kali happens, but it's not in a way we on the West perceive it. And Kali is also not some form of evil spirit, as some Westerners claim, nor is she a benevolent mother, as some others claim. She is really this dark feminine force, which is equally creative and destructive, but she truly presides more over the left-hand path to Brahman, and she should be respected as such. She shouldn't be equated with spirits like Lilith, because her energy is different from the energy of Lilith, and her role is different from the role of Lilith. Kali is not a succubus. Kali is primordial, dark goddess, manifestation of Shakti, and she is female embodiment of the primordial darkness. There are similarities between her and Lilith, but as I said previously, they are different spirits. Not one is better than the other, but they are not the same deity. They are not the same energy. They are not the same goddess. When we talk about Kali worship, we should understand that it is a really demanding path. It is really demanding sadhana. It is really demanding ritual. Kali demands a lot of her devotees. I have certain information on Kali, but truly I am not necessarily allowed to reveal it. I will reveal it only if people from the I and World Foundation allow me to. And now I will talk about my experience with Kali. So first I answered the question from one of my fans: who are two most powerful spirits I summoned? Actually, Kali should be added to that list, because Kali is somewhere along those lines in her more transcendental form. So yeah, the most powerful spirits I summoned I can talk of are Kali, Shiva, Samael, and Hassan Abdul Ghul. So those four spirits. Now, my experience with Kali is that she is really good if you want to cast a curse, if you want to remove curse, if you want to do the exorcism, and if you want to transform yourself and your energy body on the left-hand path to Brahman. Those are three things I use Kali for. Also, she is really good if you want to heal your physical body. He can also open your psychic abilities really quickly. She can also protect you from harm and attune you to the primordial darkness, to the left side of Brahman, more than any other deity I probably experienced. And she is much more powerful than the majority of demons from the Christian tradition. If you want to summon Kali, my recommendation is to first start working with some negative entity from Hindu pantheon such as Pishacha Mayalakan, such as Rakashi Lankini, such as Lavalian Gatisaman. Summon some of those spirits, attune to some of those spirits heavily, and then start working with Kali. Kali is also a spirit which is capable of weakening your attachment to your own ego quickly. So what she does is, when you summon her, if you ask for it during your devotion and during your sadhana, if you ask to weaken your ego, she will for a few seconds allow you to experience the world as if it is simply flowing. So she will allow you to experience the world without being completely attached to the world. There are also some things which I realized through my work with Kali. We shouldn't be ashamed to use destruction for spiritual ascent. Now, what I mean by this, I obviously do not support completely unrestrained use of destructive spiritual practices, such as curses and other things like that. But we shouldn't be ashamed of doing those practices either. We should do them when we have to do them, and we can also use those practices to destroy the destructive. So let me examine what I am saying. What is the exorcism? The exorcism is destroying of destructive, right? You are using certain chants to remove or obliterate negative entity or energy which is afflicting other person. So in order for you to handle exorcism and to learn exorcism, you yourself need to be able to wield negative energy in order to cast away even stronger negativity. That's why Kali is in majority of cases used in exorcism, and she is in many instances much better at exorcism than spirits like Surya, because she is really destructive as well as really creative, and she knows how to banish those negative energy, because she knows how that negative energy works. She can really easily also seal those negative energies away in her realm. So let's say you do the exorcism with, for example, Surya, or you do it with some other entity from the higher realms. And what will happen is you will remove it, but it will return, cause it's not sealed away. But if you do it with Kali, she removes it, but also she seals it away in her realm. And that's why majority of people use Kali in exorcism, because it's easier. Because Kali knows how those negative entities work. And this is all I have for you today, really. In this video I covered a large sway of topics. Majority of people will not watch through entirety of this video, but I was kinda obligated to film it. A lot of people asked. And for the end of this video, I have to answer one more question from my fans, who asked me in a comment section, who is darker, Shiva or Kali? Well, what I can say is that I am not competent to answer this question, because I am not allowed to work with the darker form of Shiva by my spirit guides. I am not spiritually evolved enough to approach the dark, aka demonic form of Shiva. I have energetic experience only with lighter form of Shiva, which is summoned through the mantra of Om Namah Shivaya, and I am truly not competent to speak about darker forms of Shiva, such as Mahakala and Shiva Kalabhairav. I am not competent to speak about those forms of him. And since I never worked with demonic aspect of Shiva or dark aspect of Shiva, I cannot answer this question asked to me by my audience. And the question was, who was darker, Shiva or Kali? I simply do not know, because I never worked with dark aspect of Shiva in any way. So I hope you enjoyed your questions answered, and see you tomorrow.